Today I'm going to show you how I create some nunchucks on Nomad Sculpt. Stay until the end because I'm going to 3D print it and I'm going to try to see if they can survive. So let's start. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this sphere that already comes when you open the program because it's not really rounded and I just don't like it. So I'm going to add a new sphere and I'm going to use my moving tool just to keep the general shape. I'm going to use 4 tools. I'm going to be switching between the moving tool, the clay tool, the smooth tool, and the mask tool. That's the only thing I'm going to use. And you remember that you can invert any of these tools like the clay. Instead of adding, you can make holes and remove materials like I did with the eyes, and I can create other details. And I'm going to also add some spheres. I'm not going to touch these spheres. If I want to shape my eye, I'm just going to use my move tool to give all the details. And like I mentioned, I'm just going to switch back and forth until I have the shape that I want. I have to say that I wanted to create like a lion face or a wolf face. But to be honest, I wanted to do something simple. I didn't want something that was sticking out with a lot of details. And just I wanted to keep these rounded shapes. Couldn't make like the ears bigger or better and put other details. That's why also I decided to do this kind of hair and I'm just loving it. When I was putting some detail with the clay, I was seeing that it's just too flat. So I wanted to add some texture, but I don't have the time to create a new brush for this one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna reduce my brush and I'm gonna go with a circular motion around my piece. I think I'm liking this texture and I'm hoping that when I do the tray print, it will show all these details. But we'll see. And then when I'm happy, I'm just gonna add the main body that is this big cylinder. And I'm gonna add the smaller one just to add kind of a little bit more of details. And I'm also gonna clone it and put it at the bottom. The most important thing is that I want in the main body to make sure that it has a lot of resolution because I wanna paint a dragon. Well, it's not gonna be really a dragon, but it's gonna be like my dragon. And you'll see what I mean. And I'm gonna bring a torus, this kind of donut shape, to create the connection at the end for my chain. I wanna make sure to make it thick and strong. I'm gonna join it with my other cylinder to make sure that I don't have anywhere edges that are kind of sharp and that can make this piece weak. Remember that to join object, the only thing you have to do is select both layer on the scene section and just press join. And I'm gonna check that the symmetry is correct. So whenever I pin to the front, it's gonna replicate on the back. And then I'm gonna use my mask. This is gonna be my type of dragon. I know I'm not the best. Something that I noticing right away is that it doesn't have enough resolution for a drawing. In this menu tool, I'm gonna use voxel to give it more resolution and it will allow me to keep drawing, kind of liking it, even if not really a dragon. I don't know if I have enough space for wings, so I'm not gonna do them. And I'm gonna create this kind of energy. Remember that with this tool, you're gonna have to invert it because anything that is dark is not gonna be affected. And you're gonna see in a moment what I'm talking about. Over here, I just like the energy from the left. And the right one, it kind of looked too thick. So I'm just gonna invert this tool, just the same way that I do with the other ones. And I'm just gonna paint again to remove it and redraw it. And now that I'm liking it, I'm gonna use the inflate tool because I wanna have more organic shape. And I'm gonna go around and slowly make sure that inflates the way I want it. And when you do that, you can see right here all these effects. And it looks like it's ruined, but not really. So I'm gonna add more details using voxel again. I'm gonna use the smooth tool and slowly reducing the strength. I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna make sure that I smooth everything without destroying the details. I can see right now that one of the legs kind of got deformed. I'm just gonna reshape it and fix it that way. I'm thinking, what else can I add? The small cylinders, they kind of look boring, so I'm gonna add some details. I'm gonna add these gems. And to be honest, this could have been also like a magic staff. Leave in the comments if would you like me to create a magic staff. I'm gonna add more details on the bottom, otherwise it will look weird. I'm gonna put the name of my channel, CR. Doesn't look that good, but I'm just gonna leave it like that. And then it's time to create the chain. So I'm gonna use again the torus, and I can modify the donut the way I want it. I want it to be thicker, I want it to be stronger. So when I modified it to make it a little bit thicker, I can kind of see that it's touching the other part, and you don't want that because it's not gonna rotate. So I'm just gonna modify it. I'm gonna use my moving tool to reshape it, and then I'm gonna be able to have it completely in the air so not touching anything, and I can create the other parts. I used to have long time ago real nunchucks. I don't even know what happened with them. And I also, when I was a kid, one of my uncles builded its own with wood, which was pretty cool. I'm saying this because even if I don't have a reference, I kinda remember how long the chain has to be. Over here I can see, like, first of all, it's kinda too thick, it's too large. So I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller, and I'm just gonna remove some of the toruses. I know it's not gonna be perfect, but still I wanna try to have a strong chain. So when I use it, it's not gonna be destroyed. So this is the final result. This is a 3D model. To be honest, I kinda like it. I wasn't expected this to look like this. And now it's time to print. So I'm gonna send it to my computer because of course I did it on my iPad. And here my slicer. One quick tip is if you want to print anything that is like a cylinder, like a sword, or this type of model that I'm doing right now, the worst thing that you can do is to print it straight. Because of the layer lines, you're printing something that is gonna have some pressure applied to it. It's gonna break. So the best thing is just to do like a 30 to 45-degree angle, and then you can put your settings. Right now I'm putting 25 in fill. I don't know if I should put more. I know that the best way to make it really strong, it would have been to print it in parts and then put it inside like a piece of wood, metal tube, or a plastic tube, something that's stronger than the PLA. Now let's print. So now that I send it to my printer, I did a short where I bought some filament from Timu. It was really cheap, and it doesn't fit on my 85X flash forge. So I was really disappointed, but I have the Lego Neptune Pro 3, so I was able to use it in this machine, and this is exactly what I'm using right now to print this piece. Now I'm gonna remove the supports, and I cannot believe two things happened. The first one is when I was removing the support, I realized that one of the rings, half of the part, was missing. I even was double checking on the support. It had to be there, but I couldn't find it. I think it was when I was removing the support, I broke it myself. So I was really disappointed. I was almost done and I couldn't even use it, and it's already broke. So I already had printed a second pair, and I knew it was gonna have the same defects. I was trying just to remove it really, really slowly, and I had my ring. The second thing that happened, that was actually the issue that probably broke the first one, is that two of the rings were kind of glued together. And when I was doing my digital design, I didn't even notice that it was touching. But in my mind, I was like, okay, probably it's touching, but it cannot be completely fused. It has been attached maybe just by a tiny part of plastic. So I tried to move it to unlock it and it broke. I cannot believe one tiny part was completely fused and it was so easy just to break apart. And now I have another broken ring. So again, I have two nunchucks. They're completely broken. I even pass it to my wife just to show it, and she barely touched them, and the chain completely separated from the other side. So yeah, I was disappointed, but this channel is about never give up, and yes, we make a lot of mistakes here, mostly only mistakes, but we keep going. So I went back to my drawing board or my tablet, and I work on the design again. While I was trying to redesign the ring, which I thought it was the problem, I cannot believe I did a big mistake. In this channel, I always talk about how if you want to have a strong tree print, the best thing to do is to have a lot of walls. And in my previous print, I added only 2 walls, which I cannot believe, and I did an infill, but that's never enough. So this time what I did is first make sure that nothing was touching, and second of all, I wasn't gonna put infill, I was just gonna put walls. I have to say with the first one, even if it had infill, I did like between 15 and 17 hours. With this one, I put more walls and I did, it was like 21 hours. So almost a day. But now that I have it done, I'm slowly removing the supports. I can feel it stronger and it was successful. I was able to remove them. Now, one of the things, because I wanted just to print this out, I wasn't paying attention a lot of my settings, and I have really bad defects. Sometimes you cannot avoid them, but it could have been better. So I just sand them, and you can sometimes just add several layers of paint, thick layers of paint, and you can kind of get away with it. So I'm gonna show you one that I kind of sand them and paint it, and another one that I didn't. I just applied thicker layers of paint, and there's no result. Now I'm gonna show you so you can see how it turned out with this silver paint before I may destroy them. I'm really happy. I'm really happy. I cannot believe I was able to create this. I make a lot of things in this channel, but I wasn't born with the talent. So anyone can do things like this. Now let's check if they work. So just as a reminder, I'm not an expert. Don't do this at home. I may hurt myself because this is just for fun. YouTube is telling me that 98% of the people watching my videos are not subscribed. So please, you want me to do better content and more often, please subscribe. It's great to you and it helped me a lot and I really, really appreciate it. Enjoy 3D print, enjoy art, and yes, let's survive. But what you think, comment, like, subscribe. See you next time.